I used to believe loyalty was simple. If you chose someone, you stayed. If you loved someone, you endured. I believed that with my whole chest. I believed it when my wife looked at me across our small dining table and said, "We'll always be us." I believed it when she squeezed my hand and laughed, saying, "Don't be dramatic." I believed it even when the house grew quiet and her phone stayed face down. I told myself, she's just tired, and work is hard, and marriage has seasons. I kept believing because belief felt safer than doubt. "Why didn't you answer my call last night?" I asked her one evening. She didn't look up from her phone. I was asleep. I called 3 times. "So," she said. "So I was worried." She sighed. "You worry too much." I watched her scroll, her thumb moving fast, her mouth pressed thin. I said, "Can you look at me when we talk?" She finally did, and her eyes felt far away. "You're imagining things," she said. "I'm not imagining the distance," I replied. She laughed softly. "Distance? We live in the same house. That's not what I mean." She stood and said, "I don't have the energy for this tonight." That was how it started. Short answers, cold pauses, long silences that sat between us like walls. I tried to fix things with words. I tried with dinners, apologies I didn't understand, and patience that hurt. Did I do something wrong? I asked one night. She said, "Why does there have to be a villain? I just want to know how to make it better." She replied, "You can't fix everything." Bills piled up on the counter. My chest felt tight more often. I woke up tired and went to sleep tired. When I reached for her in bed, she shifted away. "You're cold," I said. "I'm hot," she answered. I whispered, "I miss you." She said nothing. One afternoon, I saw a name flash on her phone. I didn't recognize it. I pretended I didn't notice. That night, I asked carefully, "Who's Daniel?" Her fork paused midair. "A co-worker." "You smile when he texts," I said. She put the fork down. "Now you're spying." "I'm paying attention." She shook her head. "You're exhausting." The word hit harder than I expected. "I'm your husband," I said. "And I'm still a person," she replied. "A person who doesn't come home on time anymore?" She stood up. "I'm not doing this." Days later, she came home late again. I was sitting in the dark. "Why are you sitting like that?" she asked. "Waiting," I said. "For what?" "For you to tell me the truth." She didn't take off her coat. She didn't sit. She said, "I don't love you the way I used to." My mouth went dry. "What does that mean?" "It means I'm unhappy." "We can work on unhappy," I said. She shook her head. "You don't get it." I stood and said, "Is there someone else?" Silence answered first. Then she said, "Yes." The word felt unreal. "How long?" "Long enough," she replied. "Do you love him?" She looked at the floor. "He understands me." I laughed once, sharp and broken. "Does he understand unpaid bills and late nights?" "He offers me stability," she said. "I offered you my life." "That's not enough anymore," she replied. I asked, "So that's it?" She said, "I'm choosing a better future." "And I'm what?" "A past I can't stay in." The divorce papers came fast. Too fast. She slid them across the table. Her hands shook, but her voice didn't. "Just sign," she said. "You practiced this," I replied. She didn't deny it. "I can't keep pretending." I signed because my hand moved on its own. I signed because begging felt smaller than dying. "I hope you find happiness," I said. She whispered, "I hope you understand someday." She left without turning back. The door closed, and the house stayed open, hollow and loud with memories. I sat on the floor and listened to the clock. My phone buzzed. "Don't call me anymore," her message read. I tried calling anyway. "Please," I said when she answered. "I told you not to," she replied. "My chest hurts," I said. "You're being dramatic," she said. "I'm scared," I admitted. "This isn't my problem now," she replied. The pain spread, sharp and crushing. I slid down the wall. Say my name, I begged. She said, goodbye. The phone fell from my hand. I whispered her name once more, softer this time, as everything went dark. I woke up expecting pain. I expected fire in my chest, the kind that steals breath and makes you beg. Instead, there was nothing. No weight, no ache, just silence so deep it felt loud. I opened my eyes and said, am I alive? My voice didn't echo. It didn't even exist. I was standing in my living room, staring at my body on the floor. My phone lay inches from my hand. The screen was dark. I said, this isn't real, but the words felt thin. I knelt and tried to touch my arm. My hand passed through it. I whispered, so this is it. Sirens came later. I watched strangers rush in. Pulse? One man asked. None, another replied. Time of death. Call it, someone said quietly. I wanted to scream, I'm here. No one looked at me. When they covered my face, I felt nothing. I followed them outside because I had nowhere else to go. At the hospital, a doctor said, heart failure. A nurse asked, next of kin. Someone answered my wife's name. I waited. She never came. The funeral was small. I stood beside my coffin and listened. She couldn't make it, my aunt said. Poor thing, a neighbor replied. She's devastated, someone lied. I laughed without sound. Devastated people show up, I said, but no one heard me. Flowers came from co-workers who barely knew me. My wife sent nothing. When they lowered the coffin, I felt a strange pull, like the world exhaled and forgot me. I stayed anyway. Days passed without meaning. Then weeks. I learned I could move anywhere I wanted, as long as I stayed close to what I knew. I followed her once. She laughed in a cafe. You should have left sooner, a friend told her. I did what I had to, my wife replied. Do you feel bad? She paused. Sometimes. That word hurt more than anger. I watched seasons change. I watched my name disappear from conversations. Bills were settled. My clothes were donated. My life became a closed chapter everyone skimmed. Time stretched until it broke. One morning, I felt weight again. I gasped, staring at a ceiling I recognized. My heart beat slow and steady. I sat up and said, I'm back. I walked to the mirror. My eyes looked colder. I met my reflection and said, this time, I choose myself. I rebuilt my life without telling anyone my story. At work, people called me quiet. Do you ever talk? A coworker asked once. I talk when it matters, I said. He laughed. Mysterious. I rented a small apartment with clean walls and no memories. My phone stayed silent by choice. I told myself, peace is earned, every morning. At night, I said, I'm fine, out loud, just to hear my own voice. I didn't date. I didn't explain. When someone asked, were you married? I answered, once, and left it there. One evening, as rain tapped the window, there was a knock. I checked the clock. No one visits me, I said. The knock came again, softer. I opened the door, and my past stood there, shaking. Her eyes widened. You're alive, I said. Apparently. She started crying. I knew it. I knew you'd be here. I stepped aside. Come in. She walked in slowly, touching the doorframe like it might vanish. I looked everywhere, she said. You didn't, I replied. She flinched. I thought you were gone. I was, I said. She sat on the couch, hands clenched. I'm sorry. I poured water and asked, for what? For leaving, she whispered. For lying. For everything. I sat across from her. Why now? She swallowed. He's gone. I nodded. I assumed. He lost everything, she said quickly. The money, the job. And you, I added. She nodded. He didn't fight. I said nothing. She leaned forward. I made a mistake. I know, I replied. Her voice cracked. I thought you'd wait. That was your first mistake, I said calmly. She stared at me. You're different. I had time, I answered. She asked, time for what? To stop bleeding, I said. She reached out. Can we start over? I leaned back. You're standing in a stranger's home. But you're still you, she insisted. I shook my head. The man you left is buried. Her breathing sped up. Don't say that. It's the truth, I replied. She whispered, I came back because I realized. Realized what? That love isn't money, she said. I looked at her hands. You learned late. Tears fell. I lost everything. You lost me first, I said. She stood suddenly. I was scared. So was I answered. You didn't give me enough, she accused. I gave you all I had, I said. Silence stretched. She said, he promised me a future. And he disappeared when it got hard. I nodded. I never did. She covered her face. I thought you'd forgive me. I forgave myself, I replied. She looked up. That's not the same. It's better, I said. She whispered, do you still love me? I paused, feeling nothing move inside. No. Her mouth opened. How can you say that? I already died once, I said. Her face drained. What do you mean? I mean I begged you on the phone, I said softly. She shook her head. I remember. I told you my chest hurt, I continued. She whispered, stop. You said it wasn't your problem, I said. She started sobbing. I didn't know. I know, I replied. That's why it killed me. She collapsed onto the couch. I came back too late. Yes, I said. Say something, she begged. I am, I answered. She looked at me like I was slipping away. Is there really no chance? I stood. You already used it. She reached for my sleeve. Please. I stepped back. Goodbye. She cried my name as I opened the door. I said, take care of yourself. She whispered, I will regret this forever. I nodded. I already did. I didn't sleep after she left. I sat on the floor until sunrise and said, this is what quiet costs. My phone buzzed once. I ignored it. When it buzzed again, I answered. Can we talk? She asked. We already did, I said. Please, she said. One last time. I closed my eyes. Come by. She arrived before noon. Her eyes were swollen. I didn't sleep, she said. Neither did I replied. She looked around. You built a life. I survived one, I said. She held out an envelope. I found these. I opened it. Old photos slid out. Our wedding. A trip we couldn't afford. A hospital bracelet with my name. You kept them, I said. I couldn't throw you away, she whispered. I sat down. Say what you came to say. She swallowed. I was wrong. I know, I replied. I thought love was comfort, she said. And now I know it was choice. She stepped closer. I punished myself every day. I didn't ask you to, I said. I replay that night, she continued. Your voice. I nodded. I replayed it too. She cried. I killed the best part of you. No, I said calmly. You revealed it. She froze. What does that mean? It means I learned who I was without you, I replied. She said, I would give anything to go back. There's nothing back there, I said. She shook her head. I see you everywhere. That's your punishment, I answered. She whispered, can you forgive me? I thought for a moment. I already did. Her face lifted. Then why does this hurt? Because forgiveness doesn't rewind time, I said. She reached for my hand. I didn't pull away, but I didn't hold her either. I buried the man who loved you, I said. She broke down. I know. No, I corrected. You're just starting to. She asked, what happens to me now? You live, I replied. And you? I moved forward. She nodded slowly. You won. I shook my head. No one wins this. Then what is it? She asked. Closure, I said. She stood, trembling. I'll leave. I walked her to the door. She said, I will regret this forever. I answered, forever is longer than you think. When the door closed, I picked up the bracelet and set it on the table. I folded the divorce paper once and put it beside the photos. I looked around and said, thank you for carrying me this far. I stepped outside and felt the sun on my face. I breathed deep and said, I choose peace.